Welcome back. Remember me? Remember this girl? After about almost a month and a half now of some well-needed and deserved time off, we're back. We're in the shop. We've been in the shop for a few days actually. Haven't really had a chance to film. I was kind of just plugging along, trying to get a few odds and ends things before we get really busy on the farm here. But why don't I go ahead and show you what we're doing, what we've got done, and what we've got planned. So let's get right into it. Welcome back. Okay, so this morning I got here, started working on a few things. It's time to tie a few odds and ends up. So one thing I did, you can see those cables there. They actually run to the bleeders on the air tanks. So it wasn't worth filming. It's not a huge job, but just kind of looped these around, made some loops. One here, one to the tank behind the step, and I hooked them together, and then I just looped them over the perch for this handle so they're easily accessible. You just reach in there, and then a little lower, grab the other one. And I did that same thing on the other side. On this side here, you can see the strap coming down, and I just have it looped, like you said, right there on the keeper. So another thing we were working on the first couple days I was back from vacation is we actually rigged up some new hood latches for this truck. So this hole on the cab was there, so we put a new one, or we put our new rubber on that side. And then this side, the holes are actually here, and they didn't line up quite right with what we had going on. So we just drilled two new holes, got her mounted, and as you can see, got a nice tight. That's looking good, and we actually needed to lower it down just slightly because the light bar was in the way. So knocked that out real quick. And one of the bigger things we did is we actually have this bumper mounted on, basically for good. We got to actually fab up some braces from the bottom of the bumper up to the frame, so it's a little less shaky. This truck, when I got it, didn't have a bumper, so those are missing. So we've got to fab those up, but the bumper is on. You can see the gap underneath the grill there is almost perfect. And yeah, it's a blind mount, so it bolts on here, and same in the bottom. And then right basically to that bolt hole there at the tip of my finger up to the frame, there'll be a little brace we got to fab up. The wiring's kind of a mess under there because I've been playing with it, but we did add these beauties to the bumper. So I know a lot of guys are running this tapered end bumper, which is okay. I just don't like the way it looks up here sometimes. And our plan was to run those JJ bars, but I got to talk to you about that. And I like the kind of square edge with the square edge. But so we had these little brackets fabbed up. We can run a watermelon. So once we had the bumper installed, we pulled these plates off. They just bolt on, and drilled some holes, mounted that up. I got to loom this up a little bit, but I did end up putting a plug there and running a wire into the center. So those are a marker and turn signal. Man, I guess I got more done than I thought. And the other thing we did is we actually got the headlights hooked up and working. And they're actually ran, most Peterbilts, I think when the high beam's on, the inside light and the outside light up, but when the low beams are on, just the outside light. I have them wired so both lows and both highs work at the same time. So I got those hooked up, and there was a nice weather pack plug there and on the truck. So I just had to make a little bit of an extension cord to go from here back down to the middle on each side where they hook up. So those work. I'll show you all those lights and how they work later. Looks really good. And then this morning, quick little project. Normally these bumpers, the blind mount ones with the tow hook holes, actually come with holes in the bumper to mount a license plate, swing plate. This one didn't, which is fine. And then this swing plate, you can see they wanted to use big 1/2-inch bolts to mount that, which I think on the bumper with holes, or with non-blind mount bumper, there is 2 big holes there that mount right into the front frame of the truck. But I didn't want to put 1/2-inch holes, so I actually drilled some 1/4-inch holes in this swing and in the bumper. and that's not going anywhere. Nice and tight, looks good, and not very evasive on the bumper. So yeah, coming right along, we're getting lots done here. So I guess now I better explain to you what's going on with these blinker bars here. I bought these used, and when I bought them, they were brand new, but they were used. They hadn't been installed yet. And so I sent them off to my buddy Jeff, and I had them powder coated. He did a great job. They look awesome. And once I got the hood on, got the fenders on, I've been kind of mocking them up. Normally, you have a brace like this. This is the stock Fender step brace on the front. And we were going to replace them with these. But I kept trying to mock these up, and they just weren't fitting. And I couldn't figure out why. And even some of the bolt holes in the end here. See, there's 2 there. And there's 3 there. They just didn't line up, and I couldn't figure it out. Well, I was kind of thinking maybe the guy said they were for a 379, but they might be for something else. Well, where is it here? I don't know if you can read that, but I'm pretty sure that says 389. So these aren't going to work. So I posted these for sale. If you guys are interested in these, I will ship them out to you. They're $350 Canadian plus shipping. They're powder coated, and I do have the side that mounts on the back side of the Fender too, still in chrome, brand new, never installed, an extra $300. So for $650, I'll send you both. You pay the shipping anywhere in the world. That's $650 Canadian, so you do the exchange. If you're in the States, a bit cheaper, so it might be a good deal for you. So yeah, we're not going to use these, and for the time being, we're going to run these. I don't know, I might put a stainless cover over these, or we might take them off, might get the proper JJ bars, but for now, we're going to mount these on because we need to position these holes, and what these holes do is inside the fender, they align the bracket that holds the little mud flap that goes in this section here. So I need the outside brace on, so the holes are there so I can mount the inside brace and get those mud flaps up. And then the last kind of thing to do to this hood, you know, the big mechanics of it, the nuts and bolts of it is, so once I get, like I said, the last things to do, get the brace on the outside, that'll allow me to put the bracket on the inside. And then there's a bracket on this side as well. This one's a little bit easier. I could put it on now and put the bracket in, and that hangs the mud flap here in this section off the back of the fender. And then the hood, you know, the major parts of the hood will be done. Still got to get an emblem on the front. Got to figure out what I'm going to do for a hood pull up there. But that'll be the major mechanics. So I've got these taped off because I didn't want to mark the paint. And I think what I'm going to do is just take one of these brackets here, run the 3 bolts into here, and just kind of snug it up so it fits where it needs to be square on this bracket. And then that'll allow me to kind of manipulate this fender a bit to get it square along the bottom and fitting right. And we'll get those holes in the right spot, and we can get that all mounted up. So that's my next project. You guys should be caught up. Now it's time to get back to work. Okay, got these fender brackets installed loosely. Oh, they're snugged up, but let me tell you, this is not a one-person job. Todd and my dad are gone away snowmobiling. Good for them. Wish I had an extra hand to do this, but we got them in, no harm, no foul. And now it's just a matter of adjusting the fender a little bit to get them to sit square and the same on both sides. This side actually looks a little bit better. It's kind of a consistent gap here. This side looks like it's tipped up slightly, so I'm not sure what we're gonna do there. I don't want to pick the fender up, but we'll figure it out. So at least now you can see, if you look down in there, that's basically when I get this square, that's where I'm gonna mark the holes, drill them, and that is where the inside bracket will go. Okay, let's give you a little light update. Got our mirror light, front breathers, top lights. And we got this fancy corner light down here. And then here's the headlights all wired in. Looking sweet. So yeah, that's low. I'll flip it over to high for you. And then there's high, and I'm glad I wired them together. I know some people get mad on the highway with bright lights, but it's better to see than not see. So that's the high beam. I hated the look too when you got one light shut off during the day or whatever. It's just ugly. So so there's the lights, and then when we're done here, we're gonna pull this truck into the other shop up against the door, and we'll aim these headlights a little better. But for now, and one more thing here, we have been messing around with this back door handle, or it's been missing since we started this project. Kept ordering handles in, they were the wrong one. Lo and behold, it's actually the exact same handle as the front door. And we were ordering bunk door handles, but the reason for that is because the latch isn't here. Like on the passenger side, there's a latch that sticks out here, and that's what closes the door. The latch is actually up here, like the driver's door, so it can be ran, and this is the escape hatch. So we got the handle in place, we've got the interior in place, this cover in. So this bunk door is basically done. The only thing we need to do is get the stopper that stops this door from opening all the way, because the last thing we want is to scratch this paint up. And while I'm on the topic of paint, oh my God, we did a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff did happen, so I do apologize I didn't get a lot of this stuff on film. But while we're on the topic of the paint, will you guys look at this flippin' truck? Look how shiny that is. I actually have my friend Jordan from Lux Auto Salon came by and ceramic coated the whole truck. So we know the paint's new, the paint's fresh, it's a bit soft, so why not protect it with a nice hard ceramic coating, and then it'll be really easy to clean. The water and dirt's just gonna melt off of this thing. But we are absolutely stoked how this thing turned out, and I cannot wait to see it in the sunlight. It's been sitting in this dingy shop with these shitty lights. So when we get this thing outside, boy, let me tell you, she is going to look spectacular. But he did a great job. He also does our tractors too. So while this was in the shop, we did the 2 tractors that were sitting in here, and they look great as well. So it's one thing I could recommend. If you want to keep your paint nice, wax is one thing, but if you want to keep it nice and make it real easy to clean, look into some ceramic coating. There's lots of really good guys that apply it, and you can actually do it yourself. It's not that hard. But yeah, take that in. Okay, and one last thing we did is these lights. Remember, I was a dodo when I wired them. I said, oh, I want to keep them on the high side, and then when you turn the signal, it'll blink to the low side. Well, they don't work that way. I know this. I'm a dodo. I brain farted that day, so I just swapped the wires around. So they're on the low side now. The bumper lights are on the low side now as a running light, and they work normally. So I'll just flip them on for you. There they are. There they are. Well guys, that's the end of our mega update video. That's all I have for you for this time. Thanks for hanging in there. Thanks for watching. As always, thanks for all the support. Thanks for liking. Thanks for subscribing. And really appreciate it. And you know, we're back now, so you should be able to see videos. Might not always be truck videos, but you will get some content, you know, every week, every other week from now until the end of planting probably. So looking forward to that, and we'll catch you on the next one.